Hello, everybody. It's Bendominator, and welcome back to another episode of the Bendominator Podcast. Today we are on episode 20, I believe. Have we hit the big 2-0? Yes, we have. We are in episode 20 of the podcast, which was gonna be last week, but the season ended up releasing on a Monday, so we're doing it now. And yeah, it feels like it's been so long. It's only been a week since I've done this. And I apologize if this is coming out a bit late. Um I'm still debating whether or not I want to start doing these on Sundays, but I feel like I really don't have the time to do them then. And if I do have the time, then I'd just rather do it on Monday. But then it's weird because then I don't always have the time, but some weeks I do. Like, I always have the time to do it, but I never have the time to make them like an hour long, if you know what I mean. Which is kind of the case for this week. I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but I'm going to try and do it for as long as I possibly can. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I don't think that's going to be very difficult. But I am kind of strapped for time here, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, we are on another episode of the podcast. A whole season has come out since the last episode, so that's a lot of stuff to talk about right there. Uh, and yeah, overall pretty excited to do this one. I've been pretty happy with the channel lately. I feel like I've been doing a lot of good stuff. I feel like I've been pumping out a lot of great content lately, and I'm really excited about it. It just feels I feel like I'm kind of back in the groove, been making a bunch of content. I've kind of gotten used to making content with school going on and everything, and I've been able to kind of fit that into my schedule, and I feel like I've just been consistently making videos again, and it feels nice. There was never really a time when I wasn't uploading like a ton. I usually always upload like at least twice every week. Uh, but I feel like well, like not including the podcast. But yeah, we're keeping the podcast weekly. Of course, we had to miss last week, but that was only because I had to make other videos instead. So it's like it works out. Like there's been how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's been 7 videos since the last podcast. And even if we did a podcast last week, still 3 new actually no, 2 new videos on the new season. And then a live stream, and then of course we do Brim every Friday still. And on top of that, there's a Brim trailer, and I've been working on a Bendo Bricks video in the background as well. So it's been pretty crazy, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm excited to keep making content on the season, and I'm very, very, very excited for what's going to be coming with Brim Royale, and yeah, I'm excited for that. So there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff happening, and I cannot wait for that, including Fortnite itself. It's gonna be October soon, which means Halloween event is coming up, and that means Halloween cosmetics. And I love me some Halloween cosmetics, and I'm very, very excited for that. But there is a lot of stuff that I missed. A lot of stuff that I didn't make videos on just because I didn't really have the time making videos on other stuff, because I always tend to make videos on the things that I'm interested in. And yeah, that usually means I don't cover like all the news that's happening. I don't make a video every time the cube moves or every time there's a leak. But I do make videos on the stuff I'm interested in, which is mostly like just BR stuff, cosmetics, like of course the season launch. Made the first impressions video, talked about the battle pass. I usually wait to do that until I do the ranking. But I really like this battle pass, and I wanted to give my opinions on each of the skins. And those opinions might change by the time the ranking comes out, and I still don't know how I'd place them because I don't like own most of them. And that's another thing we'll talk about, is the leveling. Actually, I could probably talk about that right now. I've been talking with a lot of people on Discord and stuff over the past like 2, I guess, week about the season, and people are not having a great time with the leveling. People are not enjoying how slow it is, and I kind of have to agree. I'm not really in a huge rush to get the battle pass done this season, I will say. Um, I like a lot of the skins, but none of them are like I need to get it. Like last season, Rick, I was like I need to get this. Uh, there hasn't been like a tier 100 in a while, other than Rick, that's made me want like really want it. Maybe Iron Man back in season 4, but yeah, the leveling's been really bad. It's just XP gain is terrible. And honestly, for me, like people are complaining about all the challenges and stuff. I don't think the challenges are the issue. Now it does kind of suck that they got rid of the the punch like the original punch cards, because punch cards are back, but they work very differently. Kind of like how when Battle Stars were introduced last season. And they're pretty much just quests. They're pretty much just like character quests, which are a lot of fun to do because I actually like going around the map and talking to characters and seeing my progress with each one. I find that really satisfying. I find that really rewarding. So I do like that. The problem is you don't get a lot of XP for doing it, which would be fine if there was other challenges to do in the background, because right now we have 3 weeklies and 3 dailies. That's not great. And then nothing else. You don't have the break this amount of trees or break this amount of rocks, the milestone challenges. I think that's what they were. Milestone challenges. And those were essential for like leveling up fast. And I did a lot of those. And they were tedious, but you know, it got you levels, it got you XP. And on top of that, the XP game was good so that you could also just get XP from playing. And right now, it feels like you just can't get XP unless you're doing challenges or you're doing imposters. And I'm not a huge fan of playing imposters a lot. So yeah, I once you do all your challenges, which I haven't even done all of them, but like sometimes I just don't want to do challenges, and I usually only do challenges when I'm playing solo. And I haven't played solo in a very long time. Every time I get on, I play with like duos, trios, or squads. So it's like I'd like to get some XP for just playing the game. You barely get anything. Like, it's really bad. You barely get anything for just playing. It's crazy. Like, at least the previous season, like, you didn't have to do challenges if you wanted tier 100. Yeah, it would take you longer, but like, you don't have to do challenges. This season, you have to do challenges. Like, that's the only way to level up other than imposters. And it's just bad. I think all they really need to do is increase the XP gain and bring back milestones. Bring back milestone challenges. And then the XP will be way better. Because I think the way the challenges are laid out, I think it's satisfying. It's fun for me. I think it's satisfying for me. But it just doesn't give you enough reward. So I'd like to see them kind of increase the gain on that. That would be very nice. But again, I'm not in a huge rush to get the pass done, other than I do want to make the ranking. But other than that, it's not too crazy. So yeah, but I know some people really are looking for those higher tier skins. They want to unlock stuff faster. And yeah, I don't blame people because it's like what, a week into the season. I'm like level 25. And sure, I haven't been playing a ton, but still, that's pretty bad. Like, that's I any other season I would be a way higher level. I'd probably be at least like level 35 to 40 up by this point. So it's weird. Usually in chapter 1, I remember you get like level 20 in like the first day. And even with like even the last season, I still don't love the whole XP like combining, like in chapter 2 how they combined XP with levels, like tiers. Like, I feel like how the old Battle Pass did it was like chapter 1 did it fine with Battle Stars. Like, you collected tiers and then your level was separate. Because it didn't feel, I don't know, it didn't feel as much as of a grind. I mean, and like Battle Stars were fun to get. And it was like, you do the challenges, you get these Battle Stars, you get this. And at least now maybe there's more ways to level up now, or at least tier up. But yeah, it's just weird ever since I combined them. It's kind of been weird for me. But I mean, I don't mind the whole level thing. I think combining them, I guess, was a good move. It's just the way they've been handling it a lot of these seasons. It's just really weird. Like, they're trying to find a. They've never this whole chapter. They've just never been able to find like the perfect challenge system. Like, they keep changing it all the time. I thought season 7 had a great, like season 6 and 7. I think were great when it came to that, and I guess 5 too, because that was kind of when it started, the whole quest thing. But honestly, I think it'd be best if we just went back to like like 7 weekly challenges like every week. Like there's like 10 weeks of challenges, and every single week has like 7 challenges. I miss that, but because that was like perfect. Because then every week you had something to look forward to, and you kind of had that with last season. You had like they would add new challenges, but like it's not as fun because like you have to do them in a specific order. Like I hate the stage, like stage 1 out of 3 or stage 1 out of 5. I hate that. I miss when you could just do the challenges in any order, and like they're always available to you. So you can go back and view each week's challenges. And hey, if you complete all the challenges in a week, then you get extra XP for it. And you get more XP for the harder challenges. Like there's different tiers of it. And then like you can do like you can get the secret skin if you do all like enough weeks of challenges. It's kind of like difficult other than like, oh, here's specific challenges for the secret skins. Just do this. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how that all works out. But anyway, that is my rant on XP. So Fortnite just announced, and it might be in the item shop by the time you listen to this podcast. By the time it's out, there is some new skins. It's a collab with I'm probably gonna butcher the pronunciation, Balenciaga. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's a clothing brand that I've never heard of until now. And there's new skins for it. There's four completely new skins for this collab, as well as actual in real life clothes, which is pretty cool. And I'm trying to find the names of these skins, but there's like there's a doggo reskin, which I think is really funny. I really like it. These skins all look really good. I'm trying to find these names. Unchained Ramirez, which is really cool. There's like a Rust Lord variant, which I think is the coolest one. It's like Black Knight and Rust Lord in one, with like, of course, really drippy clothing on. And then there's a Banshee reskin as well, which is interesting. Fashion Banshee. So yeah, they're all really cool. I would make a video on it, but they're gonna be in the item shop tonight apparently, so it's kind of too late to do that. And I'm doing the podcast, so that's what's up with that. I think that's pretty cool. I think the skins all look great. I don't know if I'm gonna buy any of them, but they all look cool. And yeah, there's been a lot of cube stuff happening. We got the golden cube moving around. There's little cubes now. And it's quite interesting. Seems to be like a lot that's gonna happen within the next update, because according to leakers, we've seen over 1,000 builds for 18.10, which is a lot. A lot of builds, which could mean nothing. It could just mean there's like a lot of bugs they're fixing, or a lot of just a lot of playtesting they need to do. But usually when there's that many builds, it means something big is gonna happen. And I feel like this season launch was a tad lackluster. And I think that they might be introducing an update that they planned for the launch, but couldn't get it done in time, because from what I've seen, and from what I've seen people talk about both on Twitter and on Discord, this season was supposedly rushed. And I believe that because, one, there's a ton of bugs. And two, there's just a lot of things that aren't really expanded upon. A lot of stuff didn't really get expanded upon. It's really weird. But it's just interesting. Alright, sorry about that interruption, but I am back. I have no idea what I was talking about before. So hopefully I wasn't talking about anything too interesting. And hopefully you guys didn't just hear me bump my mic. I'm moving a little bit. There we go. Podcast's going great so far. But that's how it be. But anyways, yeah, I am excited to see what they add in the next update because it seems like it's gonna be big. It seems like it's gonna be a good one. I'm not gonna hold out hope for map changes. I want map changes. Not gonna hold out too much hope for that though. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully, at least like a new item and something. Probably something like that. And please, please add swords in creative. Because they've been in the files for like a month now. And they would be really cool to have in the game. And hopefully the action figure gets added as well. But that might be a while. That might be a little later as well. But I don't know how far into the development they are with that. But I guess we'll wait and see. It's also interesting to note that they just added like Venom and Carnage things as well. I'm starting to remember what I was talking about now, by the way. I think I was talking about how the season is unfinished. The season definitely does feel unfinished, and there's a lot of bugs. The content feels kind of lackluster. It seems like they wanted to do more with this season, but they just didn't due to time. And I have a feeling that's because it seems like they worked like super hard on last season. And I feel like they worked so hard last season they didn't really have time to prepare for this season as much. And it kind of caused it to be rushed. And people are thinking that the next update's super big because it's a lot of the stuff they were going to add at launch. Including maybe some map changes, who knows. But that's the main thing, like the map isn't changed that much because it was probably rushed. These Venom and Carnage things, they probably got added later because, like, just randomly because they weren't finished yet. A lot of stuff like that, I think that's what's happening. Which is unfortunate, but, yeah, because Fortnite already spreads out their content a lot. Of course, Fortnite has stuff planned, but there's always, like, those things in the trailer that aren't actually in the game until, like, a month later because they have to spread the content out over the season. But, usually at least like the season launches are pretty good. Like the season's not bad, but it's just the launch felt kind of lackluster, especially in the map change department, and some of the gameplay things just don't seem as expanded upon as they could have been. And I think that's why. Because you see so much like stuff from the promotional images of the season, from the loading screens. It seems like they had a lot more planned for this season, and it seems like they have a lot more planned for the future, but it seems like the launch was gonna be a lot more, like a lot crazier. Just judging by like the trailer and a lot of the promotional images, and even a lot of just like the loading screens. So, yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. So, hopefully that's true. Hopefully the next update kind of fills in a lot of the gaps and makes the season a bit more exciting. Because right now it's just kind of, for me, it's a bit lackluster and it's a bit disappointing. But I still like it. I still like it. But I was kind of hoping for more. And I think that's just because the season was rushed. And I think it was rushed because season 7, they put like a ton of, like all their effort into making that as good of a season as they could. Which worked for most people. So, yeah. I think that's kind of the deal there. But yeah, overall, I mean, the season's been pretty good so far. I'm excited about where it's going. I'm very interested to see what happens with it in the future. This is just the start. So it's going to be really cool to see what happens. Already a lot of cool news. I mean, we've already gotten like 3 collab skins. That's pretty cool. We got Janky. We got, what's his name? We got Carnage. And we're getting the new clothing brand skins. We got the new starter pack. And next update is just going to introduce even more and more new skins. Which is going to be really cool. And I'm excited for that. And hopefully creative. Hopefully creative gets some new devices. And hopefully it's the sword and maybe even the action figure. But we'll just have to wait and see. As we always say here, you've always just got to wait and see for stuff like that. But the season seems promising, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm enjoying it so far. I just wish they would fix up the XP, and I wish that there was just a bit more content to like sink my teeth into. Because like there's stuff, but again, it just feels kind of lackluster. It feels rushed, and I presume that's what happened. Uh, and yeah, so I'm interested to see where everything goes. And yeah, I mean the cube's been doing stuff. It seems like they have ideas for what they want to do. It seems like the season's definitely going somewhere. We've already got some big collabs, so it's just the execution and seeing what happens. I really just want something new with the map, dude. That's all I really want. I just want something. Just anything new with the map. Because this season really did not deliver on that. And this was like the one season where it just really seemed like it was going to, and it just didn't. It just didn't. Nothing happened with that. But there are some leaked items already. Like, for instance, there's a chili chug splash, which is like chug splash, but you throw it down and it just makes you run fast. That's a cool idea. I like that idea. I don't know why they ever got rid of chug splash in the first place. But I do like that idea. I'm also excited for the fact that we're gonna be able to like vote on things to unvault. I think that's gonna be really fun. That's gonna introduce a lot of cool items to the game. I'm wondering if those items that are unvaulted are only gonna be there for like a week until the next thing gets unvaulted, or if they're just gonna keep adding on top of each other. I hope they add on top of each other because I think that would be really fun to just keep adding some wacky items to the loot pool, like some older stuff while adding newer things. There's gonna be dual crossbows, which is interesting. That's going to be interesting. Fortified walls. A lot of leaks that already came out for things that we could be seeing this season. And that is exciting. Also, the 4th birthday is coming up soon. That's crazy. 4 years of Fortnite. That's happening soon as well. Halloween event. A lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to. So, even though this season launch was kind of lackluster for me, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to, and I'm very heavily optimistic going into this season. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what happens. Super excited. But yeah, I kind of talk about all my impressions and stuff in my first impressions video. So if you want to know like all the specifics of how I feel about everything, you can watch that video. And then also if you want to know all my thoughts on all the Battle Pass skins, I also made a Battle Pass video as well, which was pretty fun. But yeah, again, a lot of stuff. A lot of really, really interesting stuff. Crows got added. I keep forgetting that we got crows. And people are saying that we're going to get like rideable animals. You're going to be able to ride raptors. That seems interesting. Might be a cool new form of transportation. I feel like they're just going to work like vehicles, but they're just animals instead. So it's not going to be like, I feel like it's not going to be anything groundbreaking, but hey, being able to ride raptors would be nice because that should have been a feature when they got added. But I mean, that would make sense for them to. That's the only thing that makes sense for the reason why they brought them back is so that they can make them rideable in the future. It's just weird to me that they just never thought to do that, because it doesn't seem like something that they were gonna do and they just didn't do, because it's one of those things that leakers were like, oh, it's gonna happen. And then it didn't happen, and they're like, oh, oops, guys, it looks like they changed their minds. Like, no. They probably never planned it. People just assumed that that was going to be the case. It wasn't the case, and then people were disappointed. But I guess Epic saw that's something people wanted, so now they're going to do it this season, it seems like. Because why else would they bring Raptors back and then also introduce these, like, rideable things the same season? Seems weird. So that's the only conclusion I can come to, unless they're going to introduce a whole new animal and then have raptors still not be rideable. That would be weird. And crows seem to be like, I feel like crows are just like a test for flying animals so that they can add like something you can ride. Like a flying rideable animal. But if anything, I would just want to see helicopters return, because that's something that I've wanted for a while. And that's something they even showed in the Season 7 trailer, and then they just didn't add. It's so weird how they do that. I don't get why they show things in trailers just to not add them. It's really frustrating. But yeah, I think helicopters would be fun. I miss helicopters. Don't know why they took them out. Were people complaining about them? I don't know. I feel like they weren't. And we don't really have a flying vehicle anymore that the UFO's gone, so it'd be cool to have them back. I mean, it would make sense if they removed them during Season 7 to make room for the UFOs, but no, they removed them in, like, Season 5, which is, like, really random. Like, I don't know why they did that. Especially because there's, like, less cars in the map that Season 2 because of all the sand, so it's like, mobility was worse. And then they took out helicopters, so I'm not really sure how that works. But yeah, I do miss helicopters. I really liked the planes during Season 5, the nerfed version of the plane. I wonder if that'll come back during Christmas again. But the helicopters were fun. I do miss the helicopters. Speaking of, like, the Christmas event, that's gonna be Season 9 by then. Which is kind of weird, like, this season's gonna end in November? Seems kind of soon already. But the season just started, and it's already, like, almost October. And I feel like October's gonna go by pretty fast, and then November's gonna go by fast, and it's just gonna be like, oh, here's Season 9. That's gonna be weird. I mean, I guess that's, like, around the same length as every other season, but still, that seems like it's gonna be quick. So, that'll be interesting. I wonder, it probably won't feel quick by the end, but it seems like November's, like, so close. It really does. And yeah, it does. So, I'm really interested to see what they do for the Halloween event. I feel like it's been a while since we've had, like, a really good Halloween event. Well, I don't know if we've ever had a great Halloween event, but I always look forward to them for the cosmetics. I don't know if there's ever been, like, a good Halloween event, actually, now that I look at it, in terms of gameplay. But when it comes to the cosmetics are always on point. I love the Halloween cosmetics they do. It's always amazing. And I'm very, very excited for the Halloween cosmetics. I just feel like every time there's a Halloween event, people complain about it because they always add some really weird thing, and then they lock it into, like, normal game modes and don't make it an LTM, and then people get mad because it's like, oh, I don't want zombies, or oh, I don't want ghosts. It's like, yeah, I can understand that. I don't understand why they don't just make it a separate LTM at that point. Because they always have Fortnitemares replace the normal modes. And that just never made sense to me. That never really made sense to me. Especially when they add things that are so controversial. But the season actually kind of already feels like a Fortnitemares update. Like, you got the zombie areas, you got the fog. It's just Fortnitemares, but there's no Halloween skins. Not a single Halloween skin in the Battle Pass. Which is kind of disappointing for me. Because I really like Halloween skins. And it would have been nice to have a Halloween skin in the Battle Pass. But, you know, I'll take what I can get. The Battle Pass is really good as is. So, not much to really complain about there. Just something that I kind of think would be neat. But we're going to get plenty of Halloween skins for the event. So, that's going to be cool. Fortnitemares is always a good time, especially with cosmetics. So, I am very excited to see what happens with that. So I know it's a bit early on in the podcast, but I do need to kind of wrap this up at some point. So I'm going to move on to viewer questions. So Furback on YouTube asks, what should be changed about the map this season to make it feel more fresh? For me, just add any POI. Literally add any POI. My first thought would be to change Boney Burbs to some kind of city POI, which I know doesn't really make sense because it doesn't really fit the season's theme. Even though the season doesn't really have a super strong identity or theme besides just cubes. I think it would just be really cool to get, like, I've said this so many times in the podcast, but just give us Salty Towers back just without the sand or something, and I'd be so happy. Like, I would be thrilled if that happened, dude. It's such a small thing. It's literally recycling something old, but we got that thing for like one season, and I miss it. It's crazy to me. It's just crazy to me how they literally, like, they kind of actually did it. Like, they actually kind of brought back Tilted, and it really seemed like nobody cared, which is, it's crazy to me. That's just, it's like, you look back and you're like, yeah, they did bring back Tilted, didn't they? Like, of course the layout was different. It wasn't really Tilted. It really just felt like they placed a bunch of prefabs down in creative mode. But hey, it was enough to make me happy. And I'm not even somebody who likes Tilted. I just liked having a classic city POI on the map. The sand bothered me a little bit, I will admit. But still, it was nice to just have a classic city map back on the map. It was really fun. And it was really hectic. And it brought back that old Tilted feeling because so many people landed there. And half the games you land there, you die. But hey, boot back up, play again, and you have a chance to have an amazing game. And that's what Tilted's all about. It's risk reward. And Salty Towers kind of brought that back for me. And the only problem I had with the was like the sand and maybe like the size. So I'd say add a few more buildings, have it be on just the normal grass terrain because the sand's not here anymore. And boom, amazing map change there. I'd land there all the time. That would make my day. Like that's all they have to do for me. This is literally all they have to do for me to make me happy. If they're not gonna do that though, which they probably won't, maybe like a new center POI because like the center of the map is just terrible right now. I think a new center POI would be very nice. I don't know what that would be, but it would be very nice to have a new center POI. The main thing with me right now is the map's boring, but at the same time, the map's gotten so old to the point where people don't. There's no popular landing spot anymore. Like nobody goes anywhere. Like everybody splits up so much to where, like, no matter where you go, like there's no popular landing points. Like there's no places that everybody goes to. And it's just like I can land Lazy Lake and there'll be like one other person there. And it's just sad because it's like I want to fight someone off spawn. There's nobody there. There's no POI that's like super contested. And you know the map's stale when that's a problem. And there's literally no one wants to land anymore. I literally every game I boot up, I look at the map and I don't want to land anywhere. I look at the map and I'm like, oh, I'll just land this random landmark that I like. Like I go to the IO base that Rick used to be at. That's like my favorite spot on the map, and you know the map's stale when that's my favorite spot on the map is a little IO base in the middle. It's God, it makes me so upset, dude. All they gotta do is just bring back something, bring back salty, not even bring back something, just replace a POI with something else. Just anything. Just anything. I just want a new POI to go to. I miss that. I miss the feeling of going to a new POI. And I miss the feeling of going to like an entirely new POI. Because we had Corny Complex last season, and that was kind of just like meh. Like it was just another farm. And sometimes there's POIs like that. But like Season 6 Primal, even though I didn't like most of the POIs, I still had fun exploring them. And I did really like Colossal Crops, and that was a place that I landed to all the time, and it was refreshing and it was fun. It was a fun new place to land. Back in Season 5, they had a bunch of new places. The thing is, those map changes never stayed, so it's like, now that they're reverted, I can't go back to the places other than Boney Burbs, which I will say is kind of a refreshing place to drop this season. I do kind of like Boney Burbs this season, but I think that's only because everywhere else is so boring and stale. So I'm points to them for keeping Boney at least, even though that was like the worst one for them to keep, I feel like. Points to them, I guess, for doing that. So yeah, I know that was kind of a random rant off of that question, but thank you for the question. Thank you for that. Watts asks on YouTube, what are your thoughts on the sideways and the anomalies since they're back? I didn't realize how much they helped the flow of the game until they were removed for a little bit. They really do help when getting those newer items. I do enjoy it a lot because I don't really like landing on normal sideways that much. I don't think it's worth it to get like the items. But I do really like the anomalies because it's a fun little mini game you can play. You get the items, you get the minigun, you get the rifle, and you're all good to go. And I like that a lot. It kind of makes it so there's more than just one way to get the new items, and I find it a lot of fun. And I like that there's just a nice, easy way to get the new stuff. I do kind of wish it was still in the standard loot pool. I wish you could find it in the standard loot pool rarely like you did with the alien weapons. But still, it works for me, and I do enjoy doing those little mini games. I think it's a lot of fun, and I like it. I like it a lot. It gives you more to do when you're running around. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go do that anomaly over there. It's just a nice, fun time. Rusty Ramacool asks, so far this season out of 10, what do you rate it and why? This season for me is a straight 7 out of 10, I think. It's not bad. It's not great. It's like 7 out of 10 for me. That could change over the course of the season. I'm predicting that number is going to go up from all the leaks I've seen and from just like my expectations. I think this season's going to just get better as it goes on. But as of now, as of my kind of reflection on the launch of the season and the start, it's a 7 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10 for me, which is solid. It's like a good season, middle of the road kind of. It's good, it's not great. 7. I am hoping that number goes up though. But yeah, 7 out of 10. That's how I look at it. And yeah, I think honestly, I'm gonna end it there. I know this one was kind of short. I think it's about like 30 minutes long, so it's not terrible. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap it up here for today's episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was just nice kind of joining back, catching up on the podcast, kind of getting back into it. Next week episode will probably be longer, and there'll probably be more stuff to talk about too, because there's gonna be an update coming out next week on Tuesday. At least I'm assuming so. If they stick to the schedule of updating. So we'll be able to talk about that next week. But for now, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for asking those wonderful questions. I apologize and didn't get to all of them. And I will see you guys on the next episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And goodbye.